My next guest takes on Sinead Kavanagh coming up here at Bellator 207 on October 12th. It is Janay Harding joining me here on the program for the very first time. Janay, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's what time over there? We were talking about this off air. I think it's 9 a.m. your time.
Yeah, 9 a.m.
That's
Exactly.
great. So you're just getting your day started. What's on the agenda for today?
Yeah, I got my first meal to make, of course. I got breakfast, start the day with breakfast, and then it's a pretty busy day today, actually. We've got strength and conditioning in the morning, plus some photos I'll do at that time, and then I've got to finalize some medicals because, of course, that's always a lot of running around, and I got to get my bloods done or finalized, and then yeah, training in the afternoon, and obviously eating in between that, and the day should be done.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for having me part of your pre-day routine or whatever. But let's start all the way at the beginning with you. Where did you how did you get involved in combat sports?
I was already doing karate, like a lot of kids do when they're a little bit younger. And then I just kind of got to the point where I wanted to mature a little bit more and find something a little bit more challenging. And then I ended up stumbling across MMA more by chance than anything. I didn't necessarily seek it out, but I found a gym and I loved it, and that's where I've been ever since. And then I just kind of ended up doing. I went from doing it as a hobby and then doing it more as a career once I finished school, and I got to really get involved in it.
When was that moment for you where you realized that you wanted to make a run at this professionally? Because I'm sure, for some people it's a hobby, and for you now it's a career.
Yeah, we had I had after I graduated high school, I had like a 4 or 5 month break before I got like my own car and my own independence to be able to take myself to training and everything like that. And then once I went back, I think it was like a couple of weeks later, we had a guest coach in at the gym, and he was kind of the person who just stood in front of me and was like, "Well, you either want to do this as a hobby or as a career." And I never really even had fathomed the idea of it being a career. I kind of like that was before when we were in the UFC and a lot of things like that. So I never really thought, oh, I can do this for the rest of my life, like, and really set up my future with this kind of sport until that moment. And then that was when I was like, oh, yeah, we'll definitely give it a good run. And I'll wait until I've had my first fight to see how I go, and had my first fight and I did really well and everything kind of worked out well, and I was like, this is what I love to do. I enjoyed it so much and the experience was amazing. So I was like, oh, I might as well keep doing this, and yeah, I haven't really stopped since.
Are you a full-time fighter, or do you have a job on the side that helps pays the bill?
No, I'm a full-time fighter. I quit my job about just over a year ago. Um, Working in between because I've been doing a lot of traveling, but I kind of did travel for more exposure and the potential to really increase my like experience and everything in MMA, because I was kind of running out of opponents in Australia. Just the popularity of it here isn't as much as it kind of should be for a female. And yeah, I guess since then I moved over to Thailand. I went overseas a lot, and I'm finally back in Australia, and I don't have to work for a little bit because I've got this fight coming up. Yeah, and I'm in a really good position to be able to train full time and everything.
That's excellent. Now, what did you do for work before that? Like, what were you doing to pay the bills?
I was just working in retail, but I was working in a health food shop.
Oh,
Ended
cool.
up
So they
managing.
kind of go hand in hand. At least you can eat healthy and
Yeah,
everything, right? Yeah.
and it was really good. It's definitely something that like health food and the kind of community there I'll always take with me, because a lot of people I still get to see when, especially when I go back to the Gold Coast and all that kind of stuff. But just being in that environment of having an naturopath and nutritionist as a colleague that I can just like pick their brain all the time with nutrition questions and food questions and all that kind of stuff was really good. And then since I ended up managing that shop, I had such a good network with like reps and brands and all that sort of stuff as well, and I could always know what the new supplements were as well. That was really cool.
That's excellent. Now, you were supposed to fight on the Contender Series in 2017, and I know that fight didn't end up happening. What was the deal there? Was it a visa issue? Why didn't you end up competing on the show?
Yeah, it was the visa issue. Not necessarily that I got denied, but that I didn't have enough. You need a very, very large case file to back up your claim of being an MMA fighter or whatever you claim to be in your profession, and therefore they just said I didn't have enough information. So I needed like more letters and more like I guess articles from online and stuff like that. But once I finally got my Bellator finally set up my visa earlier in this year, of course, so that I could fight in the States. That ended up being like a 65-page file, so it obviously took a long time, and it was just more the time thing. I mean, the Contender Series, there's 1,000 other people that want to take that opportunity, and it was going to take too long for them to send it back to the visa people and then get it back and possibly not even get approved after that. So they didn't want to take the risk and of it taking too long and me getting denied, and they just kind of just replaced me.
Well, it worked out well, obviously, signing with Bellator. How did that all come together? Because, I think people just assumed that, if it wasn't Contender Series, it would be UFC. But here comes Bellator out of nowhere, and they sign you.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Like, I think it was like a good 2-3 weeks later, because I was kind of like in this lost period where I've been training for the Contender Series and investing everything into that and expecting to go over to Vegas. But then Bellator actually contacted us. I think it might have been a bit of my social media, how I was promoting myself at the time and really trying to get on board with a lot more things and like hashtagging and stuff like that, to be honest. And then they contacted my manager, Danny, and kind of went from there. And then, the contract finally got written up a couple months later, and here we are. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise, definitely.
And of course, that's Ruby Sports and Entertainment, one of the best managers in the business. Got to give Danny Rube a shout out here in this interview. But so how many fights was your Bellator contract? Because usually, there's times where they'll just do like a one-off thing, but you obviously have a multi-fight deal with them.
No, I definitely do. Again, credit to Danny for setting it all up and making sure that I get the best possible contract. But I guess since they sixed us out as well, like we kind of had that leeway. I've got 5 fights with them. So I've got another 4 left, and it's within like a 22-month period. So it should be pretty well with Bellator over the next year.
That's awesome. Now, I know your debut didn't go as expected against Amber Leibrock, but you always learn more from a loss than a win. So what did you take away from that fight?
It's just like a massive step up in promotion and everything like that, and like audience, all that sort of thing. It was a very big step from my last fight before that was in Hong Kong a year before, in kind of like another smallish promotion. Before that, I've been fighting in Australia. So it was just a massive step. I thought that I was sort of taking it all in during the week, and I was dealing with everything quite well. And then I guess I kind of got in there and I was like, oh, this is a lot more than I expected almost. But that's all experience for me, and I can take that into my next fight for sure, and I can take in that kind of expectation of it being such a large promotion, such a kind of a lot of pressure and all that sort of stuff. So now this time I'm in a much better headspace because I know what to expect and I know what's coming. So definitely positive all around.
You're taking on a notable opponent here in Sinead Kavanagh. She's from SBG, obviously has that name value there, which is always nice when you're having a matchup like this. How do you feel like you match up against her here? She's got that 5-2 record. Yeah,
really well. I think styles make fights, and I mean, she's a stand-up fighter and I'm a stand-up fighter as well, but we have different kind of avenues that we take in our stand-up. So I think that will make it really exciting. And then, of course, there's a little bit of a range difference there, and the people that she's fought, for me, will be quite good to take that win under my belt and really move forward in the Bellator featherweight division. So I think it's going to be an exciting fight, that's for sure. And I think both of us are really well matched, and I think it will bring the action.
Where are you training right now, and who are some of your main training partners?
At the moment, I'm in Sydney, Australia. I'm training at Australian Top Team. That's who I did my last camp with. And the guys there, so we've got Suman and Ashkan Mokhtarian are the 2 brothers that run the gym there. Obviously, Ashkan is in the UFC, and he's getting ready for his fight in December 6th or whatever it is in Adelaide. And then Suman just came out of the Contender Series. He's still dealing with the knee reconstruction, so but he is currently now back on the other end, training and rehabbing and all that kind of stuff. And then I've got Alex Georges is probably one of my main training partners, one of the best lightweights in Australia, really tall, lanky guy, which is always really good to kind of just constantly be creative. Those guys push me to be creative in my striking. I think that's what I really need to do for this fight. Just constantly kind of problem solve and keep moving and all that sort of stuff. So those guys are really good. I've got a couple of girls there too, Danielle Hayes, who's coming through to her pro debut next month, which is really exciting. And she's from the UK and she's been fighting for a very long time, so it'll be cool to watch her. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of guys. The best thing about ATT is that there's a lot of people who are actively fighting. We have about like 7 or so people fighting this weekend alone on 2 different promotions. So yeah, it's really good. The crew's always in like a good atmosphere and good like spirits to get involved.
How's the weight cut going? This fight's coming in a couple weeks, and you know there's a bit of travel, obviously. How's that all going?
Yeah, really good. I think the last fight I surprised myself almost. Featherweight, I have fought at bantamweight before, so featherweight is kind of like the more comfortable weight for me to fight at, the less stressful weight for sure. So that last fight, I was really stressing about the travel and how it would affect my water retention and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, last time I did 2 half-an-hour saunas and I was on weight. So that kind of, for me, that's a good weight cut. And if I know that what I'm expecting, then yeah, I'm really happy to be where I'm at. I'm definitely on track. I've got George Lockhart on board for this one, just like not necessarily because I didn't think I was going to make it, but just because I want to be at the peak of my body, and I know that I can really improve my replenishing and all that sort of stuff, and just having that extra knowledge of somebody else worrying about your diet than you is really good. So yeah, everything's on track.
How do you see this fight playing out on October 12th?
I'm definitely looking for a finish, back into all my professional wins are from finishes, so I'm looking to get back on track on that, and hoping that I do something a little bit more exciting than what I've done in the past. Usually I just knock out with punches, but yeah, we're looking for something a little bit different, maybe some knees and kicks and elbows and stuff, so that'll be good.
Have you been watching The Ultimate Fighter at all just because of the fact they have women's featherweights on this year? I know the timing's probably off. You probably don't get to watch it, you know, like at a good time or anything like that, but have you been catching it at all, or at least following it at all?
I haven't watched every episode, but I watched 2 episodes. It's actually on TV here in Australia, most likely because of Rob Whittaker being one of the coaches, which is really cool. So it's on free TV, free to air TV in Australia. So I did catch a couple of episodes, but haven't been following it all. But it does look really good. I mean, it's good that the UFC want to build up that division, considering I mean how strong it is in Bellator and how sort of fresh and new it is in the UFC. It'd be good for them to have this Ultimate Fighter series and then really build it up and have a couple more names in there.
Good stuff. Last question before we let you go. We've talked all about your fight career and obviously your tenure in Bellator, but what do you like doing on your downtime? What do you like to do to unwind, relax? Are you watching any Netflix? You playing any video games? You going for hikes? What would I find you doing?
Yeah, at the moment, especially when it comes to camp, I do the least amount possible in my downtime. If I'm not sorting out emails and whatnot, I'm usually either playing Xbox or watching Netflix. At the moment, I've just been playing Diablo 3. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Of course. You're talking to the guy here, you know, it's just straight male. Of course, I'm playing some video games, so that's good.
Yeah, got my hands on Diablo 3. I don't think I've played in like 4 years or something crazy, and then I was so happy to pick it back up and just be doing that in my downtime in between sessions, and something to just chill out and let my brain kind of go free. And yeah, it's been really, really good.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to this fight. It's coming up here October 12th. It is Bellator 207. Janay, it was great getting a chance to talk to you. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
For sure. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's Janay Harding, my first and last name. Same as Facebook, you can find everything under my name, my athlete page, and my Twitter is Harding_Janay. Other than that, I just want to shout out Protein Supplies Australia, and as of course Australian Top Team for housing me for this camp and getting us ready for Bellator. I'm excited.